Okay, folks, in today's lesson we are going to talk about multiplying binomials, but this time we're going to add coefficients to our x's, okay? So remember, just like when you're doing distributive property, when x has a coefficient, you need to multiply the coefficients together too. When there's just a negative sign, it actually means -1. And at this point in time, you can either use the table method or FOIL to expand. I'm going to let you choose based on what feels better for you. I'm only going to do one of the two ways for each of these questions here, but I am going to alternate so that you get some exposure to both of them as well. Let's start with number 1 here. 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. Notice we have a coefficient here on our x value. For this question, I'm going to use the table method. I'm going to put my 2x and then plus 1 across the top, and then x and plus 3 along the side. I need to multiply to fill it in. 3 times 2x gives me 6x. 3 times 1 is 3. X times 2x is going to be 2x squared. X times 1 is just x. Okay, just like we did before, we're going to write everything out. So I have 6x plus 3 plus 2x squared plus x. I'm going to rearrange so that my x squared is the first term, so 2x squared. Then I'm going to put my x's beside each other, so 6x and x, and then I just have a 3 left over. I'm going to go ahead and collect like terms in the middle here. 6x plus x is 7x, and then plus 3. So our final answer here is 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. Let's do example number 2. I have x plus 4 times 3x minus 1, and we have that coefficient on our second x there. Once again, I'm going to use the table method. I'm going to write x and then plus 4 across the top, and 3x minus 1 down the side. I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. -1 times x is -x. -1 times 4 is -4. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 4 is 12x. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write all these out. So I have a -x minus 4 plus 3x squared plus 12x. I rearrange it to put my 3x squared first. Then I'm going to put my x's, so I have a -x and positive 12x. And then I have -4 left over. I'm going to combine my like terms in the middle here, so I just have a 3x squared. -x plus 12x is 11x minus 4. So there's our final answer. Okay, in our next two examples, I'm going to use the FOIL method. Here in these examples, we can also see we now have a coefficient on both of the x's, okay? So we have to remember we need to multiply those numbers together. I'm going to start 5x times 2x, so 5 times 2 is 10, x times x is x squared. 5x times 4 is 20x. 10 times 2x is also 20x, and then 10 times 4 is 40. I'm going to combine my middle two terms here because they are like terms, so I have 10x squared. 20x plus 20x is 40x, and then plus 40. Okay, let's look at our next example here. 3x minus 1 times 4x minus 3. I'm also going to use the FOIL method here. So first we're going to start 3x times 4x. Well, we do 3 times 4, so that's 12. X times x is x squared. Then we do 3x times negative 3, that's going to be negative 9x. Negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. And then negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. This leaves me with 12x squared. I then combine these two terms. Negative 9x and negative 4x are negative 13x plus 3. Okay, in our next set of examples, we are faced with a situation where we have a negative number as our coefficient. We continue business as usual, okay? B just happens to be a negative number. I'm going to use the table method again here, just to change it up. I'm going to put my negative 2x and then plus 3 across the top, followed by 4x and plus 2 down the side. Okay, let's go ahead and fill it in. 2 times negative 2x is negative 4x. 2 times 3 is 6. 4x times negative 2x, we do 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And then we have an x squared. 4x times 3 is 12x. I go ahead and I write all of that out in a line. 4x plus 6 minus 8x squared plus 12x. I rearrange that to put the negative 8x squared first, followed by my x's, followed by my 6. I can then combine my middle two terms. Negative 4x plus 12x is 8x. So my final answer, negative 8x squared plus 8x plus 6. Next up, I have 3x minus 4 times negative 2x plus 1. Once again, let's use the table method here. Okay, I'm going to write my 3x minus 4 across the top and negative 2x plus 1 across the side. Let's go ahead and fill that in. So I have 1 times 3x is 3x. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Negative 2x times 3x, well, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. X times x is x squared. Negative 2x times negative 4 is going to give me positive 8x. Okay, I line these all up. 3x minus 4 minus 6x squared plus 8x. I rearrange them to put the x squared first, and then I put my x's, and then I put my whole numbers. Finally, I combine like terms in the middle here. So my positive 3x and my positive 8x gives me 11x. Okay, for a final answer of negative 6x squared plus 11x minus 4. In our last two examples here, we are faced with a situation where the coefficients are both negative beside x. That's fine, we just keep continuing to multiply our numbers together. In these two examples, I'm going to use FOIL. First, I'm going to start here. Negative 2x times negative 3x, I do negative 2 times negative 3 gives me 6. X times x is x squared. Then I do negative 2x times positive 9. That gives me negative 18x. Here I have negative 4 times negative 3x. That gives me positive 12x. And finally, negative 4 times positive 9 is negative 36. I can go ahead and collect my like terms here in the middle. Negative 18x plus 12x is negative 6x. So my final answer is 6x squared minus 6x minus 36. And finally, I have negative x plus 10 times negative x minus 3. Once again, I'm going to use the FOIL method here. Negative x times negative x is x squared. Remember that the negative sign just means negative 1, so this is like negative 1 times negative 1. Then I have negative x times negative 3, that's positive 3x. 10 times negative x is negative 10x. And finally, 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. I go ahead and collect my like terms in the middle here. 3x minus 10x is negative 7x. And my final answer is x squared minus 7x minus 30. And that's that.